What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're checking out the Savior Equipment Mini Loose Sack. These are sold in a 4-pack, which is why we have 4 on the table today to take a look at. I picked mine up over on Amazon for around $25 for the 4-pack, so ultra affordable, especially when you consider that $25 gets you not only 4 of the pouches, but also 8 of these writable ID patches, and so you end up getting 2 per pouch, and these are meant to be written on with permanent marker, Sharpie, something like that. But I didn't write on mine because I plan on having some labels made that I can just stick on there so it's not my sloppy handwriting, but it makes it so you can easily identify what's inside without having to open each pouch. Now, I'll make sure to leave a link to where you can find these down in the description of the video. Again, I got mine on Amazon, and that's where I'll be linking. They do sell them directly on the Savior Equipment website, but they're about $10 more, and you have to meet the free shipping threshold, and so just all around a better deal on Amazon at the moment. Obviously, do your own research. Sometimes that flips after a few months after the video is published, so worth checking into, but at least right now, much better deal on Amazon. Now, these are soft ammo carriers, and so that's what I'm using mine for. That's what we're going to be showing today. You can really use them for anything you want, provided they fit in the exterior dimensions here. So they're about 6.75 inches by 3 inches by 3¼ inches, and they can actually fit quite a bit. There's no internal organization, as we already saw, no internal organization, which makes them great for carrying ammo, but that also makes them a great dump pouch for just kind of general items. They do have full-size versions of them available as well. Now, I went with the mini, and I'm probably going to pick up another set of the mini in a different camo pattern because I just like the way they fit in a range bag, and also in my rifle case on the exterior pockets. These will slot into those exterior pockets. I have 3 of them, and so I can put 3 of them, 1 in each of those pockets, and carry them with the rifle case without carrying a separate range bag if I want to, and I'm not able to do that with the full size, so that's why I really like this one. I'll probably end up getting a different camo pattern with the second set, so we can have 1 for pistol caliber, 1 for rifle calibers, and so quickly identify between the 2 and then use the patches obviously to further identify. Before we get into the capacity for each caliber, let's talk about just kind of the build on these. So 600 denier polyester on the exterior, we have a 420 denier nylon lining the interior. There's a grommet on the bottom to allow drainage. If you get water in there, any moisture in there, you can drain it out the bottom. Now, it's not mesh covered or anything like that, so small things can fall through that. Now, I have 22 caliber in here, and the tip can fit through here, but the back of the casing isn't going to go through, so you might get one that pokes out, but it's not actually going to fall out. And I haven't actually had that happen in real world use, but I did test it out as soon as I saw it when I was putting 22 in here, just to make sure. And you can poke them through, but they're not going to fully fall out. That's worth mentioning though, depending on what you plan on using this. So if you're using like BBs or pellets, which are a smaller caliber, those will definitely fall out, leave a little breadcrumb trail behind you. So probably wouldn't want to use them for anything smaller than 22. Also, I guess like slingshot ammo, that's probably perfectly fine. At least the slingshot ammo that I have is a little bit bigger than that, so not going to fall through. But again, just kind of be aware that that is an open hole at the bottom for that drainage. So if you put anything too small outside of ammo in there, you may have it dropping out the bottom. Now, we have a grab handle on either side, and so that's really nice. So no matter how it's sitting in there, you can quickly have access to it. Savior Equipment tags underneath there, nice and tucked away. You do have a 3-inch wide by 1.5-inch tall hook and loop panel for those writable ID patches that come with it, but you can also slap any patches on there. They sell some that already say the caliber, or if you just want decorative ones, that's fine too. If you don't put anything there, it's a pretty soft material, has the Savior Equipment logo on there, laser etched into it, so it looks pretty nice if you decide not to put anything on there. For our zipper, non-YKK zippers, which may be a bummer for some, but they seem to be well-built zippers. They're made by Savior Equipment, and they have their own zipper pulls, which are these rubber molded zipper pulls with a nice texturing on it. It has that Savior Equipment logo as well, and you do get 2, so you can leave them in the middle like this. You can leave them in either direction and set them up exactly how you want them. And the zipper feels well-built. Haven't run into any issues. I will update if that does become a problem in the future, but so far have had no issues. So they do list how many of each caliber can fit in these pouches on the website, but it's only kind of some of your general calibers. So in here we have 22, which is not listed on the website, and these I have about 800 in there right now, exactly 800 actually in there right now. It says, or I've seen people say that you can put about 1,000 in there, and that seems pretty accurate. I've had around 900 in there, no problem, but 800 right now, and there's still room to spare, so about 1,000 of the 22 caliber. Now for 12 gauge, that's obviously pretty much the opposite end of the spectrum here. They say about 36. I have, I think, 30 in there right now of the target load, and so if I put some in the middle, it will zip. If I go too far to the edge, it ends up getting jammed up, which is why I stopped at 30. I also have a little bit of room over here because these are 2 3/4 inch slugs, and so I have a room on the side to stuff a little bit more, so you can definitely fit 36. That seems like an accurate count as well. Now in the next one, this was target load. I just have more 12 gauge slugs. This one I didn't bother to organize, I just dumped them in there. So for these, they're great for clays if you're going to an outdoor range. For these ones, my indoor range only allows slugs, so that's why I don't have any with buckshot in either of the ranges I go to allow buckshot, and so only allow slugs. So I have some high velocity slugs from Hornady here, some low velocity from Federal here, and I just dumped them in there to show what that looks like if you don't organize it. There you are limited to about 30 or so. I think I only have 25 in there right now, but you're limited to about 30 or so. Can't fit quite as many as if you just nicely organize them like I did there. And with the 12 gauge, it makes sense to do that. You'll see with this next caliber, I don't think it really would. These are 5.56, and the website says it will fit 210. So I saw that, I went over and grabbed a box of 100, a box of 50, 3 boxes of 20, poured them all in there, and I was not able to zip this up with that 210 count in there. And so I pulled a couple out. Once I got to 200, I still wasn't able to zip. I think once I was around like 196, 197 or so, I was able to zip it up, but I figured I would just pull one whole box out of 20 out of there. So I have 190 in there, a little bit of room to spare, not much, but again, 210 was definitely pushing it. I think if I had organized it the same way I did the target loads, it probably will fit 210, but I don't have the patience to organize 210 rounds, so I didn't go that route. Now I only have a 4-pack of these, can only show 4 packs, plus I'm really low on my pistol caliber rounds, and so didn't have enough to fill these. But 9mm, they say 380. I have seen people confirm 350, so I'm sure 380 will fit no problem. 45, they say 220 rounds. Obviously, if you're somewhere in between, you can kind of extrapolate. They don't list every single caliber, but somewhere between 200 and 380, depending on the caliber you're putting in there. That's it for this one though. Let me know what you think of these down in the comments below. I will link to them in the description if you're interested in picking some up for yourself. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, checking out some of my other content. All helps the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.